So if no particular questions come to mind, but at the same time one knows that one is not free from suffering,
Mm-hmm.
then what would be your advice in that case?
Well, then start questioning why you're not free from suffering. Because the reason for the lack of freedom from suffering is not because there are things you haven't done tomorrow or things that you still haven't done in 5 years' time. The reasons for not being free from suffering here and now are always the reasons here and now. So in other words, there is something here and now that's obstructing your freedom from suffering. So start asking questions as to what is that? Because it does kind of tie in with other talks, other things we said. It's like, yeah, everybody at some point will kind of, yeah, okay, my virtue is established, my sense restraint is fine. And it's like, everything is all right. It's like, yeah, but does that mean you're incapable of suffering? Because that's what Sotapatti is. There is no second arrow. Does that mean the things, the future possibilities of things, of discomforts experienced on account of change and so on, will you remain unmoved by that? Do you know that for sure? Do you see how now the future possibility of suffering is now not moving you? Are you now untouchable by it? Or do you think you need to wait to find out? If so, means you're already touched. That's the whole sutta. It's like, don't be sort of re-involving yourself with what passed, and don't be kind of getting kind of caught up in what's to be, like in the future, and recognize that either or both are abandoned here. So he doesn't he doesn't run back into the past, he doesn't go for the future. I'm abandoning what's presently arisen. And that's the point. By abandoning what's presently arisen, you are abandoning past and the future. So, because the problem is when people think about, the future contemplation, the perils and so on, you think like, I better prepare myself to deal with it when it comes. But that's not good enough. Because you realize, hold on, I better prepare myself so I'm not touched by it now when I think about whether it would come or not. So now I know that the possibility of it coming is not touching me. And the pressure to address and resolve, but in the future when it comes, what should I do? Let me engage and clarify that. That comes out of a weakness. That comes out of being touched now. So that's for me, like, it's not just about, management is not just something people do willingly. They do it out of compulsion. You see, I have a possibility that something could not go my way, and then it causes a degree of concern, and then I'm pressured to address it. I'm pressured to now come up with a way so that when it happens, I'll know what to do so that I don't experience this now, which means this now you are resisting. You're trying to avoid, you're trying to preemptively address. Now you have the other extreme, says, no, stop thinking about it. Nothing is yours anyway. And don't even bring up those perceptions. It's like, no, that's going too far the other way. You need to bring up those perceptions because factually there is a good chance you'll be affected by them. But at the same time, then you need to prevent yourself from like slipping into the rabbit hole, trying to really overly define and address and plan how to deal with them. So bring them up to see how the mind is affected by it and then leave it there. Protect that state. That doesn't fall into management, but doesn't fall into just sort of careless ignorance. Because somebody who never thinks about any of these perceptions, doesn't think about future and so on, he's seemingly carefree. But that doesn't mean that he won't be affected by those things when they do change, when they do arise. For that, you need to actually think about it, but not go into not go too far with those thinking, not fall into, like as I said, trying to manage and preemptively address because it's unpleasant here and now.
So that means that the idea that meditation or contemplation should always be pleasant, which is what many people might be aiming for, is going to arrest this kind of right development.
Oh yeah, because then you would be avoiding going in the right direction. Because most certainly in the beginning, those things won't be pleasant. The things that the Buddha talked about, householder or a monk should frequently recollect, they won't be pleasant. Everything that's dear to me is otherwise, will be otherwise, it's not in my control, will come out, it will be lost. My possessions, my relatives, my family, my health, my life, those are not pleasant things, but they are not pleasant because, again, you refuse to accept what they are. The inevitability of those things, you refuse to basically stay percipient of. Yeah, I know we all die, but I don't want to think about it. That's the difference. Because everybody says, yeah, I'm not afraid of that, everybody dies. I'll deal with it when it happens. It's like, well, if you're not afraid, why don't you think about it? Why are you refusing to think about it? Why does thinking about dying interfere with your enjoyment of life? It's because the enjoyment of life requires the perception of permanence, the perception of I don't want to think about dying, because if I do, all of this is spoiled for me. So that's the practice, is to think about those things. And when you catch yourself thinking too much in terms of like trying to get rid of what's presently felt through thinking through, stop thinking and let what's presently felt endure. And then when it gets too sluggish, not enough, then bring up those perceptions again. When it gets too sharp, step back a bit. But either way, you need to find that middle tune through like tightening and loosening until you can hear it on its own. Which is the tune of those right perceptions where they are neither causing distress, nor do they basically cause like complete kind of like a sensual oblivion or like poetic inspiration or something. No, they're perceived for what they are, and the mind is unmoved by it. It doesn't jump into extremes. It doesn't try to compensate through sensuality and taking it on to enjoy life even more because we are here on limited time or something. But it doesn't grieve or despair either. So it recognizes that there is nothing to compensate for because I'm not affected by it to begin with.